Hey guys, I hope you're having a great Alien Day. So, for today, I've decided to do a countdown of my top favorite characters from the Aliens expanded universe, be it video games, comics, or novels. I've decided to keep it to only five because if I had included every character I liked from the expanded universe, would be here all fucking day. Number five, Dr. Paul Church. Aliens Labyrinth comic and novel. Paul Church is an interesting character because he turned up in the fantastic Dark Horse comic Aliens Labyrinth, and he's the most interesting and complex villain from a lot of those comics and stories. You see, whereas a lot of those villains are military types or kind of corporate heads who want to weaponize or capitalize on the xenomorphs, Church is just fucking insane. He's obsessed with controlling and manipulating them to his own fucking whim. And that goes to his backstory, which is a bit dicey, and I'll get into that later. Essentially, Paul Church, as a young man, survived being taken into an alien hive, and through a series of horrific events was the only survivor out of his family. You see, he discovered a bacteria that was actually fatal to xenomorphs and systematically destroyed the hive using said bacteria, and as a result he now sees himself as a god or holding dominion over the xenomorph. He feels that he should be able to control them, and it doesn't matter how many human test subjects he has to sacrifice in order to obtain his goals, he will do that. The other interesting thing is he's incredibly manipulative, and it also calls into question his backstory because another character confronts him on some of the things he's done, and he lies to her about her husband being in a sexual relationship with him while serving aboard the station. And it's later revealed that it was a lie. So one must think that is the entire backstory about him surviving a hive true or not? It just makes him a really sinister and fucked up character. He didn't have to make up the lie about her husband, but you just get the feeling he's that sociopathic and got a kick out of it. For me, Paul Church is one of the most sinister characters in the Alien Expanded Universe, and Jim Woodring done a fantastic job layering the character, along with S.D. Perry, who added to the character in the fantastic adaptation of said Alien comic. Number 4, General Thomas Fears, Aliens Nightmare Asylum comic and novel. General Thomas Fears was one of the USCM generals who made it off-world when it became overrun with xenomorph and managed to set up his own feudal kingdom on a human colony on the Outer Veil. Like a lot of his military contemporaries, Fears sought to weaponize the xenomorphs. However, rather than using any kind of scientific method in doing so, he actually attempted to use coercion. He wanted to make a solidified army of xenomorphs and use said army to take back Earth. General Fears is kind of like, dare I say, Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. He set up his own dominion on this colony planet and then used said colonists as breeding stock for his xenomorph army. A pure sociopath, he had no qualms about sacrificing his own men to achieve his goals, and despite all his military bravado and bluster, left his few surviving marines to be decimated by the enclave of escaped xenomorphs in his original base. Unfortunately for General Fears though, once he arrived on Earth, the alien queen took control over her brood, and his attempt at subduing the alien invasion was over just as quick as it began. Fears, again, another interesting character, not as complicated as Paul Church, but interesting in that he doesn't see himself as the villain. He sees himself as this great war hero, but is too deluded to realize he can't fucking control xenomorphs. Nobody can, and in the end, that's his downfall. Number 3, Jerry, Alien Stronghold comic. Jerry's an interesting addition to this list because while he is a synthetic, he's no ordinary synthetic. He's an infiltrator synthetic. And no ordinary infiltrator synthetic either, a hive infiltrator. Essentially, Jerry is a synthetic in the guise of a xenomorph. While the original hive infiltrator synthetic Norbert had very limited specifications and programming, Jerry has a wide variety of parameters that allow him to interact with humans. And his creator Nordlin even gave Jerry a somewhat wry sense of humour in order to put humans interacting with him at ease, but most times it actually ends up backfiring and people become incredibly uncomfortable. And despite looking like a xenomorph, Jerry still maintains the standard synthetic code of not harming or allowing a human to be harmed. As a result, he ends up saving the lives of a number of humans that his boss Nordlin wants to be killed. I like Jerry because he bucks the trends of a lot of synthetics in the fact that he looks like a xenomorph but has the most human empathy than any other synthetic we've encountered in the series, including that of Bishop. That and the fact he's fairly badass when smoking a cigar and firing a pulse rifle into a horde of oncoming xenomorphs. That gets Jerry for me the number 3 spot. Number 2, Zula Hendrix, Aliens Defiance, Resistance, Rescue, and the novel Inferno Falls. Zula Hendrix began her life as a wayward teen who lived on the streets until she took up the challenge and became a colonial marine. On her first mission out, however, she received a debilitating spinal injury and had to receive extensive operations and rehabilitation in order for her just to walk again. Because her contract wasn't up with the colonial administration, she had to maintain her role in the Marines. However, she was seconded to a unit of synthetics and was essentially the key holder for salvage ships. Whenever a ship was salvaged, there had to be a human on site in order for the colonial administration to take salvage rights. This brought her into contact with the combat synthetic Davis Ace. Essentially, Davis Ace had taken it upon himself to traverse the galaxy and hunt down every trace of xenomorph he could find. He knew that the colonial administration wanted to weaponize such a creature, but his programming, still being a protective synthetic, would not allow it. While initially being torn between her devotion to the colonial marines, she soon came to realize that Davis 8 was right. This creature was far too dangerous to allow the military to get their hands on. So her and Davis travelled to every suspected xenomorph encounter site in order to ascertain and destroy any xenomorph, later teaming up with a post-Sevastopol Amanda Ripley in order to continue their mission. Zula Hendrix is a brilliantly written character, not a Ripley clone and certainly not a Mary Sue. She is riddled with conflicts both emotionally and ethically. She has survived massive trauma from her experiences in the colonial marines, but still strives to be the best she can be. As a result, despite her conflict with the USCM, she is one of the best Marine characters in the expanded universe, which gets her the top spot at number 2 for me. Number 1, Amanda Ripley, Alien Isolation, the game, the novel, Alien Blackout, Alien Resistance, Alien Rescue. So before anyone says you cheating motherfucker, yes, I realise her photo did appear in the special edition of Aliens, but bar that, she is a character who flourished in the expanded universe. Having read both the Alien Isolation adapted novel and played the game, you get the sense that this is someone who wanted closure, who needed closure, and would go to any lengths to do it. Be it working for shitty corporations in the Outer Vale because it was close to where her mother went missing, or traversing a death trap of a space station filled with defective droids and an unknown killer that had been stalking its hallways. Amanda never gave up on the search for the truth of what happened to her mother, and her drive and conviction, even though it landed her in even more harrowing situations than her mother, proved she was cut from the same cloth as Lieutenant Ellen Ripley, and easily wins her the top spot of my favourite characters from the Aliens Expanded Universe. So guys, that is my top 5 favourite characters from the Aliens Expanded Universe. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite characters from either the Aliens comics, novels or video games are. And yeah, have a good one and have an awesome Alien Day. Bye now.